Welcome to my channel Shadows of History. What everyday technologies did ordinary people lose access to after the fall of the Western Roman Empire? The most dramatic loss for the ordinary person wasn't a specific machine or a secret formula, but rather the catastrophic collapse of standardization and mass production. If you were a peasant living in Britain or northern Gaul around 350 AD, your quality of life was supported by a massive, interconnected global economy. You likely ate off high-quality, mass-produced ceramic plates imported from North Africa. You lived under a roof made of standardized fired clay tiles. You used metal tools made of iron smelted in industrial quantities. By 500 AD, just a few generations later, those everyday technologies had vanished from the lives of ordinary people. Here are the specific comforts that disappeared. High-quality pottery. Terra Sigillata. This is the most visible archaeological evidence of the collapse. In the Roman period, even poor households possessed terra sigillata, glossy, red slip, durable tableware produced in massive factories and shipped across the empire. It was hygienic and easy to clean. After the collapse, the trade networks that made shipping heavy ceramics profitable fell apart. People went back to using crude, locally made pottery that was porous, fragile, and hard to clean, or they reverted to using wood and leather, which rot and harbor bacteria. Tiled roofs. The Romans covered everything in ceramic tiles. They were heavy, waterproof, and, crucially, fireproof. To have a tiled roof, you need a nearby factory to fire them and a road network to transport them. When the economy collapsed, ordinary people lost access to fireproof roofing. Housing reverted to timber structures with thatched roofs, making catastrophic village fires a constant reality of daily life again. The hypocaust and public hygiene. While the average peasant didn't have underfloor heating, hypocausts, in their own shack, they had access to it through public spaces. Roman towns were dotted with public baths that were affordable enough for almost everyone. These were marvels of hydraulic engineering and heating. When the Roman state could no longer maintain the aqueducts or pay for the massive amount of wood required to keep the fires burning, the baths went cold and then fell into ruin. The technology of being warm and clean in the winter was lost. The iron nail. This sounds trivial, but it represents the loss of industrial scale. At the legionary fortress of Inchtuthil in Scotland, departing Romans buried 875,000 iron nails to keep them from enemies. Iron was that abundant. Later, in the post-Roman period, iron became precious. Buildings were no longer held together by iron nails but by wooden pegs and joinery. If a building burned down, people would sift through the ashes to recover the nails, something a Roman builder would have found absurd. Literacy as a utility. In the height of the empire, literacy wasn't just for scholars, it was for soldiers, merchants, and tradesmen. Graffiti in Pompeii shows that regular people wrote jokes, insults, and shopping lists. This was possible because of the availability of cheap papyrus imported from Egypt. When the trade routes fractured, papyrus became rare in Europe. Writing shifted to parchment, animal skin, which was astronomically expensive. As a result, writing ceased to be an everyday tool for the commoner and became the guarded reserve of the church and elite administration. The tragedy of the fall of Rome wasn't that people forgot how to make a tile or a good pot. The knowledge remained in pockets. What was lost was the economic complexity required to make those things cheap enough for ordinary people to afford. When the safety of the seas and roads vanished, the cost of transport skyrocketed. A potter in Tunisia could no longer sell a bowl to a farmer in England for a few copper coins. The farmer had to make his own bowl, and the potter went out of business. The technology that was lost was the specialized, interconnected civilization itself.